Good morning, everybody. It is a hot mess here for us. Hopefully, not for you. It has been just lots going on this early morning. How are all of you? How has your week been? My big question that I've kind of been on lately is, has anybody had any non-scale victories? Even the smallest things, I'd love for you to share. Throw it in the comments because those are the things that are so important throughout this journey. Couple notes. Things are super crazy. I'm going to keep trying to do the lives every Sunday. I don't think that should be too much of a problem depending on when my sister goes into labor, but I will probably max be able to do 1 or 2 videos the next 4 to 6 weeks just with everything that's going on. If no one has seen, I'm going to be the chauffeur for all my family coming and going in and out of town because that's just how it is. So that means I have to go down in Seattle and get them and take them back and host, and things are going to be crazy. Hi, Lynn. How are you this morning? Is it cold there? It was 44, I believe. Let's look. It's 47 now, but it was 44 when we took the dogs for a walk this morning. Very cold. Hi, Noreen. Hi, Teresa. I look crazy. We just got back from the walk. It has been hectic this morning for sure. Hi, Jeanette. Oh, okay. Morning, Sherry. Did you get your bike fixed? I hope they picked it up already. Hi, Sidja. Sandra. Interesting. Okay. Fiddlestick. Oh, okay. Fiddle and sticks. Do you play the fiddle? I have to ask. Finally hit Wonderland. Congratulations. That is amazing. First time in 20 years going on a road trip for 10 days. Tips on all things carnivore for the trip. Do not be shy about asking what they cook their foods in. Also, do not be shy in asking for more meat, no sides. Like, be specific. What's the worst thing they're going to do is say no. I don't know. That's just my personality. I have no shame in this. So I'm going to ask and I don't care. So do that. Take food like beef jerky. There's Biltong, those kinds of things with you. That way you're not tempted if you feel snacky. Road trips, for some reason, that's the only time I ever want to snack. Make sure you have water. And yeah, those are my tips for going on a road trip. That sounds like much fun and well-deserved. Hi, Ingrid, Deborah, Joanne, Cordelia. Kathy, non-scale victory. Need to buy new bras. They are cute and feminine versus big and plain. Congrats. The best thing about getting new bras is that they fit better. Oh, this is for the ladies. It's just like when the band gets too big, everything like slides under and out, right? It's very annoying and very uncomfortable. Hi, Jaco. Day 14, congrats. Janet, oh, you play the viola and the violin. I love the viola. I really do like the fiddle, but I like, I don't know the genre of music, bluegrass. I really, really love bluegrass. And that's usually where you hear fiddles, or at least where I hear fiddles. Okay, let's jump into some questions. Oh, before I get too far off, depending on the restaurant, some of them you can ask them to cook it with like slice a chunk of fat off and they can melt it down to cook your steak in versus the junk they use. Thoughts on pork rinds? I think they're good if you can find the good ones. Scott's gonna murder me because he told me this the other day and I already forgot. 4505, if someone remembers the brand. Theirs are I really like theirs. They have ones you can get flavored that don't have MSG. Until I found that brand, I have never been able to find a brand that didn't have flavoring, that didn't have MSG and tons of chemicals. The best thing about pork rinds, most of them, is they're cooked in their own fat. So they're really good. And especially if you're a chip person, they are super duper good. Scott likes me to make chili con queso or queso for him every once in a while, and he eats it with the pork rinds. Yeah. Oops. 4505. I can never remember the name. I believe you can get them at Whole Foods, but I found them at Costco. I want to know about why we need to use electrolytes in the beginning. When you're first starting on, I still use them, by the way, but I also sweat a lot and am trying to be super active. In the beginning, what can happen is if you've been eating processed foods and anything like that, you get a lot of sodium that way. Then when you go to carnivore, even like keto or low carb, what happens is you're not getting all that salt in there. Your magnesium and potassium become off balanced because they pair with the salt. And then you can get the leg cramps, headaches, fatigue, all this stuff that is easily resolved by using electrolytes. There's tons of people too that you can find the ratios online and make your own. It's just like for me, I use LMNT. It's convenience. If I wanted to spend the time, you can easily cheaper make your own, but it's trade-off, right? So it'll help a lot with that. Plus, the biggest thing when you're starting is the carb withdrawals. They are terrible. They can feel like crap. And having the extra sodium, magnesium, and potassium can help combat that. Oh, bring salt. That's a good idea. Bring salt. Because most of them will use the iodized salt. Lynn, non-scale victory, noticing sadness and not going to food to soothe. That is a wonderful, wonderful non-scale victory. Cheese, heavy whipping cream as well. Instead, I go to my journal. Much better choice. Yes. Sweaty Girl Club. I have been having to jog recently with Olive, trying to get her past the squirrels and stuff. And it's like before I'd come back from the walk, just a smidge sweaty. But now I'm like having to power walk because obviously I'm learning I don't walk fast enough on walks to make them interesting for the dogs. So now I have to power walk with the small dogs. And then I have to jog with Olive past the squirrels because she goes crazy for them. I'm real sweaty by the time I come home. Hi, Gina. Thank you. Quincy, Washington. I'm curious where that's at. I'll have to Google it. Non-scale victory. We went camping and it was chilly out, so I grabbed a jacket that I kept in the RV that was tight last time I wore it. It zipped right up. It's loose. Congratulations, Gina. Those are the great times. The scale has nothing to do with it, but you know something was snug or didn't fit, and then you put it on and it's like the best, right? Oh my goodness. I'm still getting cramps 4 months later doing electrolytes. I'm going to test my minerals to see if I'm off kilter. I'm assuming you mean muscle cramps. You could still be needing a bit more potassium that you're not getting. My other question is, how much water are you drinking? Because water is a big component too with cramping if you're not drinking a lot. And here's the thing, carbs, you eat carbs, your body will retain a crud ton of fluid because the water binds with the carbs. Well, salt follows water. So then you kind of get this trickle down effect of swelling and edema. Excuse me. So if you're not eating carbs, you may not be drinking enough water. I sweat through like 2 or 3 shirts, come back home with soaked clothes. Yeah, I'm super duper sweaty. Jeanette, I hadn't seen you on here and you look great. Thank you. My hair is a bit crazy because the squirrel chasing and the jogging this morning. I'm drinking 48 to 56 ounces a day. I know drink double, if not almost triple that. I would try aiming for like 70 or 80 ounces of fluid and see how you feel, because that's not, to me, and especially if you're doing any activity, if you sweat at all, To me, that doesn't seem like enough. But worst case, you try it for, a week and see how things go. Melissa, non-scale victory in progress. Just as of yesterday, switch from keto to carnivore to deal with possible IBS. Already seeing results. Don't intend to do carnivore permanently, but definitely a win. That is awesome. If I could have fruits and vegetables and eat whatever I want, I would. But, at one point I just choked down with autoimmune stuff. Carnivore is the way. Yes, I might have like asparagus here or a little bit of onion there every once in a while if I can tolerate it, okay? But I'm glad you're trying it out. You might find that you might end up liking carnivore for the ease of it and lean more heavily towards that than keto. Who knows? I have your roast recipe in the crock pot today. Oh, yum. Delicious. I am going to pull a chicken out today and we're going to do the brine chicken. Have any of you brined chicken before? Well, or brined anything. It's easy. It is phenomenal. And I'm not a chicken, I hate chicken breast. The only thing I like for it is the Carnivore Crisp chicken breast chips. Because they're so bland that when you eat them with something, it's like eating a tortilla chip. It's phenomenal. Brined chicken. I'm so ready for boob sweat season to be over. I've been nursing a new baby all summer, so oh my goodness. That's funny. It is real when you've got any sort of chest. I brined a turkey. Oh, yeah, you're good. Good point. Brining turkeys. We're not turkey people, so not our thing. All right, let's see. Questions. What about keeping some vegetables in your diet? I mean, salad at least. Leaves. Wouldn't it be healthier? I mean, if I didn't have reactions to leaves and stuff, it would. Definitely. I like vegetables, but I react to them. So no veggies, or at least rarely veggies for me. Let's see. Cindy asks, does eating carnivore increase cancer risk? So appreciate any insight. It does not. There's actually studies that they've shown that cancer feeds on sugar. So eating a no to low carb diet, as in carnivore, helps immensely with cancer. Do you still take the same amount of electrolytes you did in the beginning? I'm wondering if we will always need to take them. I don't take as much. In the beginning, it was pretty much, daily. And now I really only take them the days that I'm super active, which is most days. But again, I sweat a lot. I sweat a lot. And I mean a lot. My shirt would be drenched after hiking. So those days I absolutely do. But you just kind of have to figure it out for yourself. If you are super active, I think taking them during those times is a really good idea. Olive's so cute. She is. They're downstairs barking. Scott has some friends coming over to play nerd games. My sister's coming over at noontime so I can help her with her virtual baby shower. It's a busy day. Never heard of running the dog past squirrels. What a great idea. Sophie Yen. I can't reach the DVDs when they're on the other side of the room. My sister bought some training DVDs. She is a vet. And this was a vet that came up with these techniques. And I've been watching them. And that was the big thing, is when your dog has a distraction, it is extremely important to get them past it as fast as possible, which is jogging or running as fast as you can past it. With Olive, she's a coon hound, so rodents, squirrels, rabbits, raccoons trigger her, and so we have to get past them super fast. Do you use sugar in your brine? No, it is purely salt. So I change the brine up every time. You do, I can't remember the ratio. I'd have to look because I have it written down. But depending on how many cups of water you need to salt, I put garlic cloves. I just cut them in half. I'll put whole peppercorns, It just depends on what kind of spices I put in the brine. And so I do spices, salt, water, brine it for 24 hours. Non-scale victory. My tummy is not poking out past my boobs. That is a big non-scale victory. Would you ever try Bikram yoga class? I've tried yoga so many times. I am just not a yoga person. I'm that person that everybody's like, calm, breathe. This should be a calming thing. And here I'm in downward dog, sweat dripping off, my hands slipping. I'm straining to keep the pose and not remotely calm. Maybe one day I'll get there. I don't know. I noticed the elbow crease is crazy itchy if I use black pepper. I put it away for a while and then had some on a steak. Yikes. Need to put it on my list, meaning to get white pepper. Supposedly, if you have reactions to black pepper. I hadn't had black pepper. I just realized I put peppercorns in that brine like a week and a half ago. I hadn't had pepper in so long that I didn't notice anything, but maybe it's one of these every once in a while. I used to not care for Thanksgiving turkey at all until we start brining it. Maybe I would like brine chicken better. I'm not a chicken fan. I like chicken legs, thighs, fine. Still prefer beef over chicken, but we brined that whole chicken, and myself, Scott, my brother-in-law, and my sister, the four of us, ate the entire thing, like picked the bones. And I even ate chicken breast, and I do not really care for chicken breast. Okay, Laurel, jogging on dirt or grass is preferable to jogging on concrete. Yes, don't laugh, but you are close to a cemetery or farmland. Either works. Now about the rollerblades. Great exercise. Use a retractable leash for Olive, otherwise she might pull you off your feet. Looks like you're going in a great place. I am going to first get good at rollerblading before I bring in the big black dog. That is 70 pounds of crazy. Her and I are continuing to work on training. She's doing pretty good. Squirrels are her trigger, though. My God, that dog she sees squirrel and then she has squirrel on the brain. And what we do for training is it's a low stress training. So there's some levels of training that are very stressful for the dog, but this kind of training isn't. This is like the Sophia Yin way of doing it, and it works beautifully. A big portion of training the dog is training myself to be very consistent and repetitive with how you cue them, like physically. I'm not even to the point where verbally cueing her yet. Teresa, I've been mostly carnivore since July 14th. Recently, had a little veg. Could that explain my recent eczema flare-up? Yeah. I would pay very close attention to whatever your vegetable is that you ate. Give it a few months. Try eating that specific vegetable again and see how you do, because that is going to be the best way of, here's the thing. Maybe you can tolerate asparagus, but not Brussels sprouts. I mean, just throwing these out here. And maybe that specific vegetable is a big trigger for you. So I would definitely pay attention to whatever that vegetable is that you ate. Ambitious Antique. Can you explain to me what you mean by hand issues? I have burning at night in both mine. Rollerblading sounds fun. So what I mean by hand issues is I finished them finally. Teaching myself to crochet. His eyeballs are super off kilter. Don't judge me. That was my first one. What happens is my hands start to cramp really bad, and then I lose like fine motor control. I mean, I can still use them, but I just can't pinch. I lose my pincher grasp, and pretty much any of the grasp, my plate grasp and stuff in my hands, the longer I use them when I have an autoimmune flare-up. I do think I'm way on the other end of it. It's still kind of there because yesterday, or is it the day before? Yesterday, I don't know. It got to the point where I just had to set down my crochet hook because I just couldn't keep going. I've been so conflicted with not eating produce from the garden, so I've decided to eat through the garden produce while it's season. I've only been eating cooked vegetables. Don't stress about it, Ingrid. Like, there's no reason to waste it. And if you're the one growing it, it's going to be much, much better off anyways versus something you purchase at the store. And two, just pay attention to when you eat things. Maybe the tomatoes are a big no-no because they're a nightshade and they really cause inflammation, but you do fine with the leafy stuff. Just pay attention as you eat it and just kind of side note that nothing's going to harm you in just, a month or a few months of eating some veggies if it's just paying attention. Okay. If you don't eat your meat, you can't have any pudding. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat? Shakara Transformations did a reaction video on you last week. I have not seen it, nor do I know who that is. Just looked up. Quincy, Washington is about 5 hours from Bellingham. Is that close to you? I live in Bellingham. So yes, you should come to our next meetup. I just realized I haven't scheduled it yet. What is it, September, October? I'm assuming it'll probably be the 3rd week of October. I got to figure out what we're going to do because where it's starting to get cold and rainy and stuff, we got soaked. And I mean, I had to come home and change all my clothes because we got soaked in the rain last time from our walk, which was fine. Everybody else wore the rain jacket. I did not. Hi, Amy from Scotland. Thank you. That is so sweet. I 100% want to come visit Scotland. So bad. Hi, Rachel. I think if you're going to eat veggies, you're not getting the full effect of what meat does for your body. It depends on the person. Some people, like myself, happen to be very reactive because of the autoimmune and things to eating vegetables. Some people are not. And it's a very individualistic. It's an experiment. It's very individualistic in figuring out what works for you. Because what works for me is not going to work for somebody else, which may not work for the person down the road. Plenty of people can have black pepper. I get super rashy on my face when I have black pepper a lot. And some people don't. So it's all about figuring it out for ourselves. And the big thing, this is my big thing, is not getting on our high horses and trying to, it kind of does turn into shame, but waving our purest carnivore wands at people. If that is eating a little bit of vegetables here and there, is that thing that keeps them on the straight and narrow and keeps them on this path, who are we to judge? If we're like, you have to give up whatever, the sweetener, because sweetener is a big thing. One of the ladies that she's been struggling with it. And it's like, it's an artificial sweetener. Is the best? No, but if that's what keeps you eating this way, then don't worry about it for now. Get centered, get on the path, and then worry about the 2%. Because if we worry about the 2%, we're going to nitpick ourselves into falling off, beating ourselves up, shame, and where does it always lead? To going back and eating the bad food. So we need to just, find what works for us and not compare our journeys to others. That's a big thing. Let's see. It says, I watched on Dr. Berry's recent video. You mentioned Redmond's rock salt. I looked on their site and saw huge rocks. Where do you get smaller ones? They look bigger than they actually are, but I also have a rock hammer that I wrap it up and I make them a little bit smaller so they fit in my purse. But they're not as big as they look on the website. Mary, would love to see some carnivore shopping hauls. Scott and I, this is the reason I had been doing them for a while. We bought 72 ribeyes when they were on sale at Costco last time. And then there were some bone-in ribeyes that we bought. I should have done a video on that from the grocery store that were on sale for $6 a pound for choice ribeyes. We got 30 of them, I think. That was as many as we could get because there was a limit. So yeah, we that's what my hauls look like, is we do it when we can find sales. I'm all about sales. If I could afford to buy grass-fed, what is Dr. Barry say, panda massaged beef, we would, but we can't, and I'm a realist. Favorite TV show or cartoon? TV show, Life in Pieces. If you haven't watched it, it's hilarious. It's on Hulu. I think you can watch it on Hulu. And cartoon, I like anime. And most of you are probably not going to know if I mention any names of anime. Oops. I do this skillet meat, summer squash, and Brussels sprouts. I love summer squash. There's too many carbs in it for me, but bruh, I love veggies. Cordelia, I came to carnivore way of eating to rid myself of my sugar addiction. So far, so good. The call of sugar is now faint and in the distance. Would you describe it this way? Yes. The further you get away from it, the more space opens up to see that we were using sugar as filling a void, whatever that was. Either for me, it was happiness. It started off with sadness, depression. I would eat it, and then happiness, and then celebrating, and then it became boredom. Like it just kind of morphed into all these emotions that I would eat it with. And as we remove it, then it becomes the space that we're like, okay, I can feel these emotions. They're not going to do anything to me, and just feeling them. That was a big thing. Have you ever done a parasite cleanse? I have not done a parasite cleanse, but that's me. Let's see. Trish asked, where do you get the iodine? I get my iodine off Amazon. It's the Locals 2%. I do 2 drops every morning in my morning cup of coffee. And I just get it off Amazon. I have it on my little Amazon thingy doodad that you can click on to find exactly where I get it. Leslie. It says, do you still drink tea, coffee with milk during the day? Coffee? I don't drink milk. I'm not a milk person. It does have a bit of heavy cream in it. 1.5 tablespoons to 2, depending on the day. I'm not a milk person. Never have. Worked out this morning. Now eating a juicy ribeye with some flanken short ribs in the air fryer. Yum. Yum. Sounds delicious. Blade Ebony, do you have loose skin? I lost 70 pounds and started to see loose skin, so stopped. Yes, I do have loose skin, but it's not going to stop me. If it sags, it sags. My life choices got me where I'm at, but I'm definitely not going to let the worry about vanity cut my life short, because that's exactly what it is being overweight and unhealthy. It cuts our lives short. It has nothing to do with looks. It has to do with not being able to participate in life. And they got those sucker things. If it gets too much, just wear one of those suck that skin in. You said you like anime. Which is your favorite? My favorite is Inuyasha. It's from 2004, something like that. It's an old one. Always fail doing carnivore. Any tips? Any tips? If you haven't, go watch my beginner's guide to carnivore, because I got a lot of tips and I probably will forget some by the time I'm done with this. The big thing is understanding why you failed. What's causing it? Is it stress, emotional triggers? Are you a binge eater? Do you use food for emotional support? Addressing that. And then the other thing is the number one thing that I think is the most helpful is getting it out of your house, getting the sugar, getting the crap, or as much as you can, out of your house, out of sight, out of mind. The minute we start seeing sugar and things like that, like at one point I had to stop watching my Korean shows because it's all about food there. And I'm not even a huge rice person, but it's just like seeing it and like the deliciousness would be like, oh, I think I'm hungry now. No, I wasn't. I was just getting triggered by seeing it. So getting that stuff out of your face, and not a big thing is not letting yourself get hungry. And what I mean is it's not eating 24/7, but don't wait to plan your meals until it's like it seems easier to go get fast food or snacky, easy stuff. Those are really, really big and important things. The other thing is, here it is. Ooh, dump what little coffee I have left. Read this book. Seriously. Like, I cannot stress how important this book has been in my life, and not just around carnivore, but just things, just in life in general. This book will help you understand that the tiny steps are what are so important. No one wants to be overweight. If we could snap our fingers and lose every ounce of weight we could in a matter of seconds, we would. But that is not the reality. We didn't gain the weight like that. And to me, it's like society villainizes people who are overweight so much that the shame for being overweight, or at least for myself, is so strong. It's like I would give anything just to get rid of all that extra weight to fit in and not be ostracized. So that is always what led to me doing these crash diets of starvation diets and then gaining weight back because I failed, and gaining more weight back because I failed. And it's just realizing, no, small habits. Small habits are what make us successful. So that book, read it. Here we go. Things got away from me. Agree. Embrace the fact that the further I go, there'll be loose skin, and I don't care. If I can afford to cut it off, I will, and if I can't, I won't. That's just what it's going to be. The sun is coming out. Mary, gonna buy half a cow this year. Quite an investment. But $5 a pound for grass fed. Yeah, excuse me. If you can afford to buy and plan ahead, it's a really good deal. It's a really good deal if you can. Scott and I just happen to have 2 deep freezers full of meat. 2. This is why I don't do a lot of this is what we buy, because we really don't have to buy meat unless it's on sale. I check every week. Oh, other hot tip, y'all. Let me find it. Yeah. Other hot tip. I have Whole Foods and Fred Meyer's, which are the grocery stores here. I check every single week, whether we need the meat or not. I check every single week for the deals. Okay. This is how we afford eating ribeyes and stuff so much. Because I put in the footwork to find the meat deals. I mean, this is just because someone asked me, like, it's so expensive. Actually, if you plan ahead, it's not. And just being willing to get what you can. Having a deep freezer is really important. Right now, they have boneless cross rib roast. What? Buy one, get one free. Bruh. We'll be going to the grocery store later. I haven't looked at the more recent one. Ooh, rib roast. Delicious. Okay. Anyways, that's my other hot tip. Be willing to do this. And if you're not and you can't afford it, then don't. It's fine. My reaction to sugar is so horrible, it became easy to cut it. Does anyone have reactions to hamburger meat? No. But if it's pre-made hamburgers, they can have sugar in them. Beef that's aged was giving me a histamine reaction, so started doing lamb, which is usually fresh. Hamburger will tend to be older too because it is ground up versus steak. So keep that in mind. So I could see, Ingrid, if you're having a histamine reaction, that could be it. We eat deer steak. It's hunting season in South Carolina. I do like beef lion steak too. What is beef lion steak? I'm curious, Kimberly. It looks like I'm going to Friends today. Yeah. In my area, it's cheaper to buy from the store when meat is on sale. Ribeye, T-bones, $4.98 a pound from time to time. Yeah, and that is exactly what we do. I wait and I just buy what's on sale. Like the flanken ribs, we bought so much flanken ribs. And I have what's the vacuum sealer thing? The vacuum sealer, and I portion it out into 2-person portions, and we freeze them. I date them, freeze them, and that way I don't have to eat the same thing repeatedly. And as we start to kind of get different types of meat, you can alternate through them. That's how you do it. Ooh. I stay getting some great deals from local store Harris Teeter. Last week got over $200 worth of meat, up $106 off with coupons discount and cashier air. Food Saver, thank you. My brain not working. I would like to eventually get, my brother has this fancy vacuum sealer. It's not Food Saver brand. The bags are cheaper. The machine's more expensive. The bags are a lot cheaper, but they're thicker. Because my problem with the Food Saver ones is after they've been frozen for a while, if you dig around in your freezer a lot, they kind of sometimes poke holes and then the meat gets freezer burned, which I hate. I hate wasted food. Such a bummer. Okay. Let's see. More questions. Have you ever heard of lab meats coming out of our food stores and restaurants? How can you tell the difference? Because it's not going to be labeled. I wonder what Dr. Berry thinks. Lab meat coming, it's going to have to be labeled by the brand if you buy it at the grocery store. It can't be labeled through the USDA stuff. Well, I guess can't is too much of a word. Too strong of a word is can't. I don't know. I watched them meat print. I don't know what kind of meat it was yesterday in a video while we were driving down. I watched the meat print something, and that was interesting. I need motivation to move more. What is something that you haven't done or that you want to do? I ordered rollerblades. Speaking of which, I'm curious if I think they're supposed to be delivered today. Let's take a peek. Oops. Oh, here we go. I might eat it and break something for all I know. Boom. Rollerblades. And then I did smart up and get the wrist guards because who knows? I'm going to probably eat the ground quite a bit. Find something you want to do. Less about exercise and more about things you want to do. So I love walking. We love hiking. I love bicycle riding. Now we're going to be rollerblading. Well, I'm going to be. I'm afraid to put Scott's on rollerblades. GW, what type of vacuum packing machine does your brother have? I will have to look at the brand. I can't remember, but it is, it's a pretty big unit, but it vacuum seals super duper good. And the plastic is thicker. And they actually have different kinds of it. And you can adjust the pressure because they freeze dry like strawberries and bananas and stuff. And you can't have the pressure too high with those when you vacuum seal them because it's freeze dried. It'll crush them. So the machine works really well for that. Wouldn't it be like Beyond Burger? I thought Beyond Burger was the vegan stuff, just like straight up vegetables smushed into a patty. Which I also thought those people, the Beyond people, were going out of business also. Higgins put weird pink additive in their ground beef. A friend's brother works in the meat department. They do weird things sometimes to meat because people want the pinkness. And that's the brownness with meat is just because the meat is touching air. It's just like an avocado. Avocado, after just a short period of time, it starts turning brown. It's just oxidizing because it's mixing with the oxygen. And people think that it means it's old. I mean, in some degree, it kind of does, sort of. So they'll add these pink additives to make the meat look fresher, longer. Yes. Yeah, they will add them in there. I don't know if all grocery stores do. It just depends. I'm out of coffee. Bummer. Okay, let's find some more questions. I gotta like scroll because things are a bit. All right. Brenda asked, what does Scott do? Scott runs our business. That's what he does. We have a kind of like a middleman, but we have our own therapist, physical and occupational therapist. Sometimes we have speech therapy, but it's pretty rare in home health. And we just partner with larger home health agencies that have nursing, because I will not touch nursing with a 10-foot pole. And he runs our business, taking patients, staffing them, getting our therapists out to see clients from usually it's hospital most of the time. Things like that. Because that's what I did. Myself and another therapist were the first two to start our business, and Scott was behind the scenes running the business portion while I went and treated patients. Now I don't see patients anymore. But that is for other reasons that I just don't like talking about. i.e., you have to be vaccinated to see patients for Medicare. So, let's see. Have you ever tried turmeric for pain? I don't really need it like I used to, but I like the flavor. I do use turmeric intermittently to cook with. I've never used it like medicinally for pain. Has anybody else used it for that? I mean, I use it to cook with here and there, but it's like a little here, a little there, but never medicinally. I would be curious if anybody has done that. All right, let's see. I saw your video about your blood work. Have you thought about doing the same for immunity, specifically vitamin C, D, CRP, iron panels? I have yet to see anyone do this. And while I didn't do carnivore, I did 2 years of fasting. I tanked my immunity, but not supplementing well. I do actually have all my immunity blood work. I'm due, I think, in the next 6 weeks or something like that for more blood work. I haven't looked. I got to look for that. But I can see how fasting for 2 years could absolutely destroy the immune system. Fasting is extremely hard on the body if you're doing like long, prolonged fasts constantly. From what I understand, if you do like 5 to 7 day fasts, it should be months apart. I might talk about intermittent fasting because I kind of do intermittent fasting, but like these prolonged 5 to 7 days or more, don't quote me on it because fasting is not my thing. But from what I understand, it can be extremely, extremely hard on the body if you're doing it long ones a lot. I found that turmeric helped. Never found turmeric help with pain. I just haven't used it medicinally before, so. Meat is food. Veggies are medicine. There are a lot of vegetables that are ground into medicine for sure. Hi. Hello. I'm the person you gave advice last time. Could not get back on track 6 days and successful 1 day at a time. Yes. Congratulations. Yes. I can't remember yesterday. I hope I told you to read this. If you haven't, I'm super proud. 6 days. That's amazing. Read it. Do it. Love this book. Super duper helpful. One day I'm going to talk to this man in person. Super fantastic. I have gotten kind of behind on my reading. I'm reading Tiny Habits, by BJ Fogg right now. I haven't gotten quite as far as I'd liked. Like, here's the books I'm reading. Perfect Puppy in 7 Days. Not that we have a puppy, but I'm really working on the training. The Tiny Habits. There's a book called Hook Point. I can't see the other ones. I have Gulag Archipelago. I have not cracked that one open yet. I'm afraid that I'm just going to cry the entire time I read that. And there's a few others that I can't see. Brain Energy. There's a book called Contagious. I'm always rereading portions of this. That's like my reading list. I told Scott I don't think I'm allowed to buy any more books until I finish what is on our bookshelves down here. Listened to the Audible version of it and loved it. Yeah, I'm a hard book person. Electronics kill my eyes. So I like paper versions. That's why you always see me hard books. My dream one day, this isn't unrealistic, but dream is to have a library room. It's like a legit, super wild billionaire dream that I will never achieve, but that's okay. It's having a 2-story library room full of old books with like the ladder that slides, because y'all needed to know this like unrealistic dream I have, right? Super duper. That's what I want. I love books. I love the small books. TMI. All right. Brianna. So the morality is carnivore is good for PCOS, right? Yes. PCOS is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and carnivore has helped immensely. It's helped regulate my cycles almost to like within 3 days of each other. And I have been one of these people that I've had the most abnormal cycles. I could go 3 months without having one. Then I could go 2 weeks and have another one. And it varies immensely. It has helped so much with my cycles. I've been thinking and not actively getting done. I need to go see a gynecologist because I want to get my hormones and everything checked, plus like my egg count and stuff. I'm not quite ready. I'm hoping middle of next year we'll be ready to start having kids. I'm going to get all of that checked. So I'll be really interested to see how the testosterone, because that's what PCOS does, is it elevates the testosterone in the women higher than it should be, which leads to I forgot what it's called, but like the hair. Have you all seen some of these people that, I can't remember, something. Anyways, pretty much you get facial hair, like beard and stuff. Some of these people on like TikTok and Twitter and things like that. I can't remember the one lady. She's, I think from India. Maybe she's American Indian. I don't know. She got a full grown beard and like she embraces it. And every time I look at her, it's like, it's not that I think she's ugly or anything. It's just like, boy, you got some really messed up hormones. Every time I see the lady with the beard, all I can think is, God, that is so unhealthy for the level of hormones in your body to grow an entire man beard as a woman. Yeah. Hirsutism, that's what it is. We're going to go with that. Hirsutism. Anyways, every time I see them, I just think, God, Lord, the amount of irregulation and imbalance in the body to cause that. And I always think, carnivore, you get rid of your beard. Another Scott question. Does he work from home? Scott does work from home. We are extremely blessed in the fact that our business is remote and we can work from anywhere. I'm also really blessed that I trained Scott real well, that he does most of the business stuff now, which lets me take care of everything else, especially with the crazy things going on with the sister and stuff. Funny enough, I don't think I mentioned this. Good evening, Martin. I don't think I mentioned this, but I took Olive last week to Jesse's, my sister's, and we went and walked. There's like this pathway next to this golf course. I'm walking and she's at home. Scott and her husband were down playing nerd stuff. I'm like out there all by myself walking, and I twisted my ankle. I didn't fall. I didn't actually hurt myself, but like my ankle gave and I fell into like this hole. Well, my ankle did. I didn't actually fall. And I was like, man, if I fell out here, what would I do? Because like my pregnant, broken ankle sister can't help me. And then I go back and I told her I twisted my ankle into the same hole that she broke her ankle in. It was so funny. Like I didn't even realize it, but that's exactly where she broke her ankle at. Too funny, too funny. Let's see. All right, I don't know if you mentioned it in a video, but how long did it take until you lost your carb junk cravings? In the beginning, a couple weeks, and then once you get into ketosis, it's so much better. Unless you were like me, I'd intermittently have the I want sugarness because of stress and emotion, not the physical cravings. The physical cravings, the physical cravings go away after a few weeks. Need games. What nerd games does Scott play laugh aloud? My fiance meets up. Oh, and D&D. They are actually downstairs playing nerd games right now. They play Settlers of Catan. There is a board game, Firefly board game. There's a game he's trying to convince the others to play called Axes and Allies. I'm not a history buff, but Scott is. Good Lord. One day I'll take a picture. We have this iron or metal rack downstairs, and it's full of all sorts of board games. And I'm not talking like Candyland. I do have that for my niece, but we're talking about like adult board games. Super fun, some of them. I don't play as much as he does. Sounds like someone needs to fill a hole. I'm going to take a bag of sand and fill it. The thing is this is a golf course that is been in litigation for years. So it's not the best well taken care of. Yeah, I'm gonna buy some sand and just stick it in the hole. And so it's very deceiving because it's like the width of a golf course, this path, and they come and mow every once in a while, but the grass kind of grew up over the hole. Plus it's shaded and you're going from light to dark through the shade. Martin, I'm new to carnivore, but steak and eggs mainly gone from 3 meals to a day to just 1. I don't feel hungry nowadays. Crazy. Yeah. You just listen to you. Maybe some days you need 2 meals. Some days you need 1. It is definitely about listening to what you need. And I found like the days I'm super duper active, I will tend to want more, and that is okay. The days I'm less active, I'll eat less. And learning what true hunger is such an important thing on this journey because I never knew what it was. As a kid, I was always told, eat everything on your plate. So I never actually got that sensation of what does true hunger feel like. Janet, I eat beef, egg, bacon, salt, and I've been carnivore for about 2 months, but have swollen ankles. Interesting. I'm curious if you have any edema issues previously, and or if you've injured yourself. I'd be super duper curious about that. Beef, egg, bacon, salt. Also, if you get any electrolytes or anything else like that, and or if you don't, if you eat liver, that would be my other question too. Because if you're not taking vitamins, electrolytes, and not eating liver, then you're getting a little bit of a area where you might not be getting everything that you need. Fill it, yeah. To my brother-in-law, he needs to, because it's literally across from their house, and they live 30 minutes from us. I'm getting some sand next time I go. Laura, went from strict plant-based to carnivore 1 month ago. No weight loss yet. No weight loss yet. Any ideas eating B, and E? That is pretty rapid change from plant-based to carnivore. That is amazing. I always suggest, if you are not getting where you need to go, document and measure your foods a week. I'm not saying do this all the time, but see how much you're eating and when you're eating, because how can you make any changes if you don't know exactly where you're at? So take the next 7 days, measure out what you're eating, write it down, because we're not going to remember everything, and how much you're drinking as well. Okay. Very, 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 very important to start there before you make any changes. Once you get there, come back next Sunday and then let's talk about that, because we have to know where you're at to then move forward from that. I have lymphedema. My right leg swells, especially ankle and foot, so I use unsalted butter and I've cut back on my salt intake. Don't eat that much bacon nowadays. I'm really curious if you ensure that you're getting as few carbohydrates as possible. Also, right leg swells, are you wearing a compression stocking like thigh high? If you're getting it ankle and foot, I would strongly suggest it. And figuring out why you're getting lymphedema. Are you having like lymphatic blockages? I mean, there's 1,000 things. People who've had cancer or surgeries, the lymph nodes can be pulled out. There's various reasons why, especially if it's one leg and not both, if it's unilateral versus bilateral. I'd be curious about that. Hi! I've been back carnivore 1 week and my blood pressure shot up weird. Yeah, not too much. If you're still a week and you've had like getting the carbs and stuff out of your system, if you are eating a lot of salt does affect blood pressure. When, this is a caveat, you are eating carbs. Carbs retain fluid will retain salt, and it's like having a higher volume of blood in the blood vessels. Think about water in a hose. You barely turn it on, it trickles out. You crank up the volume, right? You open the valve more, it comes out faster. It's the same thing. Can you guys hear Sadie? Or maybe that's Olive outside chewing on a toy. I'd give yourself 2 weeks. 2 weeks, get all of that sugar, carbs stuff out of your system, and then reassess from there. Sometimes tracking is very helpful. Yeah. Even if you take pictures of the meals. So it is, because that's how, like, the door shut. I'm pretty sure the dog's trying to open it. That's how like creep happens, is we don't pay attention. And how are we going to know unless we are intermittently or if we get stuck tracking it? Any suggestions for a vitamin D3 with K2 supplement and omega-3? I take I think it's Country Life. I keep wanting to say Country Light, but Country Life. You can get it from Whole Foods, I think Amazon. Mine's got I do the vitamin D3 and then it has the K2 in it. I don't mess with the omega-3. The problem with a lot of times with omega-3s is, was it Dr. Berry or Chafee? I don't remember, but pretty much they were talking about how you actually never know if the oil is rancid by the time it gets to you. There's just no way, and most of the time it is. I personally just don't deal with that. I think krill oil is probably one of the better ones for the omega-3s. I've lost 11 pounds. Congrats. That probably feels excellent. Also, depending on how much weight you have to lose, there's so much stuff with lymphedema. Lymphedema is a big thing for people who are morbidly obese, because think about this. The skin will only stretch so fast and so much. And what happens is you have the fat and it starts actually compressing inwards on the muscles, the blood vessels. This is part of the reason too with diabetes. It's really bad for diabetic neuropathy and I keep wanting to say necrotizing fasciitis, but that's not what I mean. But having less blood flow to the feet and things like that. But also with lymphedema is the lymphatic system starts to kind of get pressed in on, so it can't drain as well. Get the weight off. Lymphedema usually starts to minimize some, if not a lot, unless you had lymph nodes and various other things going on. How many eggs is too much in a week? I don't think you really can have too much unless you eat eggs every hour. I only eat 2 eggs. I eat 14 eggs a week. Scott eats, I can't do math, 7, 14, 21 eggs a week. Yeah, he does 3 eggs a day. Shoot, I've seen people eat 6 eggs in a meal. I wouldn't stress about it at all, as long as you're not like just eating them to eat them. Hi, Ben. No worries about being late. Beautiful fall day in Kentucky. I bet it's gorgeous. Under 200 pounds for the past few weeks. First time 15 years. Congrats. Maybe longer. Spent most of my last 25 years over 200, as high as 314. That is amazing. That is an amazing non-skill victory, and congratulations for that. You know what? That's actually probably a good thing. Once you get sick and tired, then you've eaten too much. Fluff. Been on an all-vegan diet, tends to raise your cortisol. Resting and unknown. Take care of your body and feed it well. Let the stress fall away the best you can. It does. I mean, when we have stressed and strained our body, cortisol comes in all sorts of fashions and ways. All right, y'all. It is 10:01. I need a second cup of coffee. I will tell you, I drink 2 cups of coffee on the weekend. Oh, here, Lynn. Omega-3 cod liver once a week. Also 1 can of sardines. Yeah, sardines are good. Not my fan. Dijon mustard, primal kitchen mayo, roll patties, pork panko cooking. All right, Lynn, I'm gonna have to try that one day. Gonna have to try it. That actually sounds kind of good. Almost sounds like a fish patty, sort of. I appreciate you guys. I will be back next Sunday. Remember, if you have questions, throw them in the comments. Have a wonderful day today. It is beautiful, cold, but beautiful here. And I will talk to you soon. Go try something new this week. I'm going to try rollerblading either tonight or tomorrow. We'll see if I break my neck. Hopefully not. Oh, I have to do this one. 3 months, carnivore A1C 12.2 to 6.5. That is amazing. You're getting so close to being pre-diabetic range. Probably can taste it. Are you Mountain Time? No, Pacific, because we're in Washington State. All right, y'all. Bye. Have a good day. Congrats, all the non-scale victories. And whatever you do not minimize them. They are all vital and important. Bye.